Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one here, I want to talk about Maggie and the new characters that she will be returning with. We got an update up from Gimple. It was actually during Comic-Con, and I don't know how I missed this, but I did. So I want to talk about this because it actually gets into, I guess, how Season 11 is going to unfold. That's the thing with Maggie and her return. It's going to largely affect Season 11. With everything else going on, that is the end to the Whisperer story, right? All of our other characters, besides maybe Alden and Aaron, because they came across that masked figure, that might be a part of, Season 11 and just the mystery of just what that character is. But everyone else and the Whisperer storyline, that's all going to end there in a finale. Maggie is a big part of Season 11, and so it's really exciting. How is she going to return? Is she going to return with Georgie? Is she going to return with the Commonwealth? Are they both the same thing? Well, Gimple talked a little bit about that here, so I want to get into this. So of course, before we go any further, please be aware that this video will contain spoilers for Season 10. And also, if you want more Walking Dead content like this, just make sure to be a subscriber if you want reviews for each episode. The finale is airing in just under 2 months now, so if you want my review on that episode, reviews on The Walking Dead World Beyond, and Fear the Walking Dead, just make sure to be a subscriber. Now to get into what Gimple said here, I got this from comicbook.com. This is what he had to say on Maggie's return and what to expect with it. He said, "She will return somewhat a new character, which is kind of cool. And all those things that are affected and changed her are a story that we want to mine, and the dynamics that she left the story in are not the dynamics that she's coming back to. And for her especially, it's like she took a year off of high school, and she's coming back and everybody has changed. All the things have scrambled." And actually, first of all, I want to comment on that. That is such a depressing thought because I keep having dreams about that because I dropped out of high school. I went back, I went to a different school, I graduated and all that. I only dropped out for like 10 months to a year or something like that. But that's so true though. I still have dreams about going back to my high school and everyone is just like they're in like grade 12 or something. And I'm still in grade 10. I'm so behind and it's so depressing. Even though I did graduate, the fact that I did that still haunts me to this day. And that was over a decade ago. So yeah, anyways, sorry. All the things have scrambled and there's Negan in a very different role and it's a reintroduction. She can't just pick up where she left off and she's carrying a story with her that, yeah, will expand things. Asked if Maggie's reintroduction comes with new characters, a tight-lipped Gimple teased, "I'll just say yes." So that's exciting that, first of all, when we get Maggie, when she returns, she is going to be a different character. She'll be a little different. There'll be different experiences that she's had where she will be a little different. I'm sure she is going to seem different from the Maggie that we knew in early Season 9. There's going to be little things that have changed about her, but there's going to be things we all obviously still recognize, which I do like that. Like, I think if you're a writer, you want to do that with characters. You want to change them a little bit. You don't want her to come back exactly the same, right? So I'm excited for that. But on her coming in with new characters, or her reintroduction, I guess, coming in with new character, I like that Gimple did just say yeah. Because Gimple doesn't really answer a lot of things. And obviously he does want to tease a lot of things. That's sort of his job, to be honest. People can get annoyed with him, but he can't just announce everything constantly and just constantly give us all of this, right? I mean, I think the anticipation, first of all, for the Rick Grimes movie and how much we want to know about it is probably playing in his favor because there's just all of this like anticipation and hype for this movie. We just want news so bad. But once we do get it, obviously, it will be worth it. It will be exciting. And I mean, anyways, for that anyways, we will get that movie. It'll be worth it. One day we will be sitting in a movie theater watching Rick Grimes's first, I guess, reappearance into the Walking Dead world. But for her being reintroduced with new characters, obviously, if you're taking the comic book source material for this, then you're kind of assuming right away that she's going to be returning with the Commonwealth, which I think is very, very possible. That is obviously so possible. There is also the possibility that she's going to return with Georgie and maybe some new characters that she's with. So it's completely separate from the Commonwealth. Maggie is doing her own thing. It's this new group. The world's going to expand a little bit more than what we were thinking. It's not just the Commonwealth. It's the Commonwealth plus this other group that maybe is a part of the Commonwealth but doesn't want to be, because that's also a thing with the Commonwealth. They want communities to join them, which just expands their numbers. And this way the Commonwealth kind of owns that part of the land as well. There's like, I'm pretty sure it works that way anyways, which is why Rick and them didn't want to. They didn't want out, or Rick was sort of thinking about it. But a character like Dwight, didn't want that. He wanted Alexandria to be separate from the Commonwealth. He wanted them to live the way they were living and not join this type of lifestyle, I guess, and go back to the way things used to be, which is going to be a theme for season 11 and 12, is like that lifestyle anyways. The society that the Commonwealth has built is, I mean, just like our society today, and all of the pros and cons that come with it. You know, like the thing about the apocalypse is that there are some pros and cons to it. There is a lot of cons, but there's a lot of pros to it all too, you know, in terms of rent and stuff like that doesn't exist. You're just fighting for survival. But once you build up to the point where the Hilltop and Alexandria has, I mean, you're just helping out on a farm basically at that point, right? So there's a lot of pros in that way. A lot of cons with just their lifestyle, their way of life, the fact that people can die at any moment because of the apocalypse. It's sort of it's an interesting concept. The Commonwealth is definitely going to get into a lot of pretty crazy topics with that, but Maggie could introduce that. She could show up with them. And there are certain characters that she could actually appear with, like Pamela, the governor. I actually think she's probably going to be in the Commonwealth, though. I don't think Maggie's going to appear with her. I think if Maggie appears with anyone, it's going to be like Lance from the Commonwealth, who is a side character. He's, I guess he recruits people. He goes out and I guess he interviews people, and he's almost like Aaron, I guess, from Alexandria. He kind of has that job, but I guess it's a little different. There's also Mercer. Mercer is like this really badass bodyguard type of character. He's like this colonel, lieutenant, general. I guess he's more like a general, whatever. He's a badass character. You don't want to mess with him. You definitely don't. He knows what he's doing. He can take out any walker. I feel like if you guys have watched Train to Busan, like that blue jacket guy, I don't know what his name was, but Mercer's that guy. Like he can take out walkers easily, sort of thing, right? I really can't wait to hear who they casted for all of these characters. I'm so interested in that because obviously these characters really come to life on the show. I'm not saying they're not like coming to life or they're not alive, I guess, in the comic book. They definitely are. Some characters really do pop out and they do feel like legit real life characters. Some just don't. And the show definitely brings a lot more relatableness, if that's even a word, you know, to these characters. And so, yes, who's going to play Mercer? Who's going to play Pamela? Who's going to play Lance? Or why do I feel like his name is Hornsby? I don't know if that's his name. I was saying Henry, but I didn't mean Henry. I think it's like Hornsby, or it's something like that. There's a few other characters in there. There's Sebastian as well, Pamela's son, who is going to really piss you guys off, which I also do want to say is going to be a good thing for the show when you're invested in characters emotionally like that. I would say Angela Kang did a really great job with that this season with Daryl and Carol. I've been talking about that for years now, how The Walking Dead needs to return to a point where characters can actually get mad at one another, sort of thing. Like your close characters aren't always just happy and you know, working well together. No, they're going to be pissed off at each other sometimes because they're going to say really hurtful and mean things, right? Doesn't make whatever. They're saying hurtful things. Wow, I had no idea where I was going with that. The dynamic between Carol and Daryl this season, I thought really, especially in the second half anyways, worked really well. The stuff with Maggie and Daryl, or I guess not really Maggie and Daryl, but between Maggie and say Michonne and Daryl and Rick in season 9, that just works so beautifully because you obviously love these two characters, but you're going to choose a side. I understood Daryl's side on whether or not Negan should live, but I also understood Rick's side. I still don't know which side I'm on. I always go back and forth on that. Like, I understand why Daryl wants Negan dead, but I also understand why Rick wants him to live. I get it. I get both sides. The show's been doing, or at least Angela Kang has been doing such a great job in creating those tension between characters where you have to decide which one you like, and or not which one you like, but which one you agree with more. Sometimes people get a little mad about that because they think they're turning this character into a hateful character when it's like, no, you're just making that character more complex. You're just creating more depth in the story. You're making these characters real and like real life people, you know? So that's why I think with Carol and almost getting Connie killed, that just makes sense. That was a very dumb thing for her to do, but you also understand why she did that. You get everything and also how bad she felt after. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You don't want these characters to be just perfect all the time, 100% perfect constantly and agree with everything that they do. They can do really outrageous things and then you're just like, you don't agree with that, but that's fine. Maybe you just won't like the character anymore. But if you do, you want to see how that character is going to get out of that situation, how they're going to handle that, because some characters just lose themselves, you know? I was so destroyed when Shane turned out the way he did. I thought Shane was such an awesome, badass character. and then he turned out the way he did, and then he died, and I was just like, wow, he was such a great character, and they went and did that with him, which obviously looking back at it, I do get why, I understand now, but it was shocking at first, but it created a lot of depth in the story. The drama between Rick and Shane worked really well. So I hope we get more of that in season 11. Maggie's definitely going to bring a lot with that, with whoever she's going to bring, with these new characters. Obviously, Maggie and Daryl, or Maggie and Carol, are going to have this huge fight about Negan and what happens to him. So that's obviously super exciting. I really can't wait for season 11. Actually, I don't even think we have to wait for season 11 for that. These 6 episodes will probably get into all of that. So I really am excited for all of that. So post all your thoughts down below. Who do you think Maggie is going to return with in terms of these new characters? Do you think they're going to be show original characters, or I guess from the Commonwealth and I guess the comic book? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.